Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Happy birthday, Mom. You would have been 81 today. Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday is here. It is the day before the FOMC meeting, and chill out. Everything's cool, and everything is going just as according to plan. Yesterday, again, because I do charts, not only these safe calculated edges throughout that 41.90, 41.85 call spread, above a dollar, closed out full credit. I got asked by a couple of people about bottom side playing the other side. And again, I love that Russian invasion, 41.15, almost got a dollar. So spreads are there. Spreads are there to be traded. You can get your 5% out of that. You can ride it for full credit, which is what the intention is meant for when we put out alerts on these spreads. So yesterday, plus 1% day. Fantastic. And again, a little bit of an overreaction there on Friday. It could have been a hell of a lot worse than it was, but you got paid for it. As we said, we can get started going into those November 17th, December 1 calls. Focus on the QQQ. 11:09, I put out that buy November 17 QQQ 355 calls at $5 is what I would consider a peaceful come and fill my order way to look at this. Not even 20 minutes later, people started getting filled on November 17th, 353 5 calls. And as yesterday went, turn it up. Oh, I had that right. I will go to a 1 minute instead. The November 17th, 11:29, from there, it popped up above $6, 20%. $4.90 was the low of the day. A little bit better than 20% in a day. And we're buying 2-3 weeks out, 3 weeks out. So it's twofold. It's number one, to show you what we're looking for 3 weeks away. And at the same time, it's showing you a very peaceful way to scalp and day trade if that's what you choose, because if you are an adult, 20% on a trade is fuck you money. So going into Taco Tuesday, Taco Tuesdays have not been as taco-y as they were throughout the entire drop. August, all red, one green, end of the month. September, all red. October, red, green, red, fractionally. Big green, back on October 24th. And here we are today going into another Taco Tuesday. We are also going in with an extremely oversold setup that we had going into the weekend and going into the FOMC meeting being tomorrow. Now, I have not looked at this, so we're going to look at this together. FOMC meeting is here. The day prior is September 19th, so I will go back on my detailed chart. September 19th, what did we do? We had an 8-point gap down, 33-point range, and we wound up closing down 1.5 points from the open, 9.5 points from the day prior, but that was a different story because we had our pop top over there in the middle of September during OPEX week, and we were trading these 30, 24, 30, 30, 30, 25, 22 point ranges. So completely different story. Yesterday, only 44.5 points. Starting to lose the volatility a little bit here, and as that volatility starts to slowly decline, the momentum shifts into the other direction, not so much for a rocket ship to the upside like the Dow Jones has been having, but very much so a continuation forward to start refilling some of those gaps. Now, quickly, what I will do is I will bring you over the futures and you'll see what I'm talking about here. The Dow Jones has gone absolute apeshit off of this move. This is an enormous move coming off here. 32,409, we're up at 33,100, which is 10% from the all-time highs. We're still red on the year, but this is a massive move. As you can see here, We broke the upper Keltner channel yesterday, got extremely overbought. And here we are again up into the overbought levels because the Dow Jones is where all the juice is at compared to over here on the Nasdaq, which is a flat pancake. Not terrible, but just silently waiting there to be the thriller in Manila. Come over onto the ES, and the ES, very nice, very good. But again, because of the weight and because of the subject matter of that weight being that it is comprised on the Nasdaq, it's a slow troller to the upside. And then brings you over here to the red-headed stepchild, the Russell 2000, which, I'm sorry, Russell, we can put Band-Aids all over you. It ain't going to help you, man. You are fucked. So, coming off of that and leaving it as it is, let's go very quickly and not waste any time because everybody wants to hear Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters 970 times during the course of the day. Fix my charts. Give me a second. I come first. And that one's good. Okay, so here we go. QQQ. 2 back to back, back to back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. 1.5% gains back to back days, Friday and yesterday. Yesterday didn't close at the highs. Didn't close at the highs there on Friday either. Range very tight. 4 points, 4.76. 2 big gap ups, 2.5, 2.5. Very, very positive looking over here. 354.44, very first retracement. And this is going back all the way to the highs of the year, up at there at 387, 388. 354.44, the first one. We've already bounced 2.4%. A lot of work to be done, but a very, very good way to get started. So, a little bit of concern, a little bit, little tiny fractional bit of concern. And that is this fake print that came out during market hours, which rarely ever have we ever seen that. It came out the same time Tesla had that drop. So I'm not going to give it too much, but you can see here you got a pretty long wick over here as well, back at 4 o'clock. Again, 4 o'clock wicks, nothing to worry about. But this fake print that came here right around 10:15 yesterday morning, down at 408.91, below Friday's low, a tiny, tiny little bit of early caution for now. You remember the one in QQQ that we played? Came out after we were already short, never came into fruition until the end of August, which was why we made a little bit better than 500% on our August 25 puts on the QQQ. Right now, we are on Tuesday. We are going into the FOMC meeting, and your primary number one target after you can get up above this 417 is that 418.09. That's the reason why I posted in the alert room yesterday about, hey, just going to let you know, Friday 420 and 421 calls, well, here's what they're trading at. Leave you here on this same time frame. I'm going to type in a couple of other tickers here because I don't want to move around. SPX, got a gap to be filled from the weekend. Never mind that. Got a gap to be filled up above here from the other day, last week. 4180, primary, 4181, primary focus point. Like I said, you've got some problems there at 4155, 4176, 4185. The easiest way that you get through these problems is you gap up above those problems. That's why you saw 4136.15 do its job yesterday, because that's the way the video game works. That's on your SPX, your QQQ. Again, very slow troller here. Thursday, Friday, Monday. Very slow troller after that big move to the downside on Wednesday. And here we are with the primary number one gap to be filled, 357, 359. The 50 retracement of the October drop being right there at 358. So a lot of attention for now sticks with 351. It's the only thing to be looking at is this 351 pivot for now on the upside. Lastly, bring you to the VIX, and we're starting to get that fade off. And this son of a bitch on Friday, 3 Fridays in a row, having not crushed the VIX. Fading off slowly. We do have a gap over here to be filled from back on Wednesday. We need to now see, now that we have minus 20, now we want to see minus 1912. We want to see minus 19. And when we start moving into a bigger, broader picture, we want to see minus 1811. And when we get that minus 1811, we will start having nothing but green days back to back to back to back in process of getting that 1811 over there on the SPX. As of right now, the futures are at their highs. The S&P is up 7 points. The Nasdaq is down 2 points, and we are right off of the highs as we get ready to go into 6 a.m. Eastern time, sun coming up on Halloween. Let's go with AMD. AMD reports tonight. Big wide picture here. I'll throw you a default. Oh yeah, this has got stuff on it too. Yeah, this 93, no, not applicable anymore. But yeah, you can see your fade off that you've been going here from June, July, August. You know, without even having to look at it twice, you're oversold. We'll go ahead and verify that. And we will come on to a daily. And your daily, as you can see, yeah, oversold. Not as bad as you were over here in April, but yeah, you're oversold. So you got earnings coming out tonight. You're below the 50, the 200, which are going to make a bearish cross later on in the month of November. You're right above the 400-day moving average. For me, personally, I like the idea of AMD surprising, and I'll show you why. Because on AMD, and pull this out, remove all the studies. Okay, yeah, we'll leave the studies. 200-day moving average is up here at 99. 50-day moving average up here at 103. 400-day moving average down here at 90. You're trolling right on this 50 retracement down to the 2019 lows. You're right above the 50 retracement to the 2023 lows, meaning half of this year it's retraced. And you're right at that September 2020 top. I will remove the studies for now and look at this. And yeah, for me, for AMD, for me, seeing your drop off on the sell down that we had on Wednesday, I like 100. I like 100. I like 150. You look at its sister or its older brother, Nvidia, and you pretty much got the same chart. Down there, holding above that 407, had a visit down to 390 or below 400. You do, again, have this little print here that came out pre-market yesterday, fake print, 398.78, something to be concerned of. And if you are with your head way, way up your ass, believing that Nvidia is the fucking golden child, watch this video that I'm going to connect to you at the end of this. It's a pretty long duration. I'll give you all of the guys' details. I didn't do it. I've shared it before. Nvidia is a Ponzi scheme. There's no other way that you're going to describe it. It is a Ponzi scheme. Don't overexpose yourself.
Just when you thought the AI mania fad was finally starting to dissipate, the darling of the financial press, Nvidia, was back in the news today. This time they sold $500 million worth of their much coveted GPUs, and this time they sold them to a charity. Now you might be saying to yourself, Jack, surely this isn't just another case of channel stuffing. Surely a company as big as Nvidia would never do anything that isn't above board. Surely there's nothing to see here. Well, Nvidia has a long history of fraud going all the way back to the early 2000s, and so it's worth taking a look at this deal. And don't call me Shirley. What's up, guys? I'm Nobody Special, and here we go in Reuters. This one hit the tape just a few hours ago. Crypto billionaire's nonprofit buys $500 million of AI data center chips. A nonprofit organization funded by cryptocurrency billionaire Jed McCaleb bought roughly $500 million worth of Nvidia's advanced chips and plans to lease computing capacity to companies for artificial intelligence projects. The AI cloud computing organization called Voltage Park has 24,000 Nvidia H100 chips, Voltage Park CEO Eric Park told Reuters in an interview. The operation plans to offer long and short-term, low-cost AI computing to help alleviate the shortage of AI chips. And isn't that wonderful of them? They're just trying to help out. They're trying to alleviate the shortage of AI chips by buying up $500 million worth of those hard-to-come-by H100 chips. San Mateo, California-based Voltage Park is a wholly owned subsidiary of McCaleb's nonprofit Navigation Fund. Any profit Voltage earns will be sent to Navigation. McCaleb does not operate or sit on the board of either the nonprofit or Voltage. And this is billionaire Jed McCaleb. Now, if you don't already know who Jed McCaleb is, he's famous for a number of reasons. He founded Mt. Gox, the now defunct Bitcoin exchange. It used to be the biggest crypto exchange in the world. That is before it got hacked and 850,000 Bitcoin was stolen. Now, that was years ago, but that Bitcoin that was stolen would today be worth about $29 billion. It's worth pointing out that that hack and that controversy happened after McCaleb had already left the company. McCaleb is also famous for being one of the founders of XRP, something that made him insanely wealthy. He made billions of dollars in XRP by granting himself millions of the tokens that he has been dumping on retail investors for years to the tune of several billion dollars. And more recently, he founded Stellar Labs and the not quite as famous Stellar Lumens cryptocurrency. And that's another crypto that has had no shortage of controversy over the years. So this guy has gotten awfully rich on a lot of projects that have caused a lot of problems for a lot of other people, but Jed McCaleb has done pretty well for himself. Well, now Jed McCaleb is a big advocate of effective altruism. You know, that other famous crypto billionaire, Sam Bankman-Fried, he was a big fan of that. Oh, I'm a billionaire, I want to give away all my money. Well, it looks like the Navigation Fund is one of his nonprofit organizations, and this nonprofit organization is buying $500 million worth of Nvidia's GPUs. So you know I just had to start digging into this outfit. Here is the Navigation Fund's website. This nonprofit was just launched in 2023, so there is virtually nothing available out there in the ether about whatever it is these guys are doing or what they're up to. Now, on their website, they say they're advancing bold solutions to the world's most urgent problems. And what are the world's most urgent problems? Well, you might be thinking the world's most urgent problems are things like the outbreak of World War III, the imminent collapse of the global financial system, polarization of society, the normalization of political violence in democracies. No, those are B-lister problems. These guys are taking on the real issues like safe AI and farm animal welfare, criminal justice reform, open science, whatever that is, and of course, climate change. You read through this website and it looks more like an SJW wish list. The guy that runs this outfit is this big animal rights advocate. He's a vegan. He wants everybody else in the world to be a vegan. No thanks, hard pass. I like my steak. But why are these guys who think the biggest problem in the world is farm animal welfare buying $500 million worth of Nvidia GPUs? Well, remember the GPUs are actually being bought by the Navigation Fund's wholly owned subsidiary named Voltage Park. And here's Voltage Park's website. We build infrastructure for machine learning. It's kind of like your generic AI website these days. Doesn't really seem like there's anything special, not special about it. But I dug in a little bit to this company. They're talking about the Nvidia chips, but it's when you scroll down and you get to the Our Customers section, and it didn't take long before I had that aha moment. I want to focus your attention all the way over there. One of the 3 customers shown on their website for Voltage Park is a company called Imbue. And now this is starting to read like an Nvidia story. AI startup Imbue tops $1 billion valuation after funding from who? Nvidia. And how do you like that, guys? It turns out this customer who is renting these Nvidia chips from Voltage Park, a nonprofit company who bought these chips from Nvidia, well, they got their money from Nvidia. This is starting to sound an awful lot like that CoreWeave story, isn't it? Imbue, a startup building large language models to power artificial intelligence tools, has raised $200 million from investors, including Nvidia Corp, at a valuation of more than $1 billion. But wait, it gets even better. Check out the first sentence of that next paragraph. Astera Institute, a nonprofit founded by cryptocurrency billionaire Jed McCaleb, led the funding round. That's right, folks. That's the same Jed McCaleb who founded that other nonprofit group, the Navigation Fund, which owns Voltage Park, which bought the chips from Nvidia in the first place. Well, it's the same guy funding both the acquisition of the chips and the company that is renting the chips right along with Nvidia. So just to help you guys take the walk with me here, we've got Nvidia and we've got this Astera Institute, Jed McCaleb's other nonprofit group. And they both give $200 million combined to this company called Imbue. Imbue is an AI company. What do? They need computing power, so they rent these Nvidia chips from the company called Voltage Park, who, of course, sourced those chips by buying them from Nvidia. So you've got this circular movement of money from Nvidia to Imbue to Voltage Park, right back to Nvidia. Oh, but you got to remember, guys, that Voltage Park is a wholly owned subsidiary of the nonprofit that was founded by Jed McCaleb, the same guy who founded the other nonprofit, the Astera Institute. So you've got Nvidia, a company with a documented history of fraud going all the way back to the early 2000s, a company with a history of giving money to their customers just so their customers can give the money right back to them to make it look like organic earnings growth. This billionaire and this company are getting together. They're funneling money through this Imbue company into this Voltage Park company. Round and round we go. It's just the circular accounting, the same money being moved in circles. Now, guys, there are other customers for Voltage Park, and I'm sure Imbue had other investors along the way, so dollar for dollar, this doesn't all line up. But this is just another example of the circular movement of cash to make it look like there is more demand for these Nvidia chips than there really is. So long story short, this is just another case of this seemingly explosive growth in the demand for these Nvidia chips. But when you go back far enough, eventually you find out that the source of the money that is paying for these chips is at least partially Nvidia themselves. And once again, the press just takes this story. They don't ask any questions. They don't do any due diligence. They just slap it up on the screen and make it seem like this explosive AI mania growth story is all legit, when 5 to 10 minutes of Googling is all it takes. And you can realize that these companies and these people involved and these organizations involved are not quite above board. Now, I don't know exactly what is going on with all of these nonprofits and these companies and this seemingly circular accounting. I can't even tell you whether or not it's legal or illegal. I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not a lawyer. But again, all it takes is a few minutes of looking and you can find out that the source of the demand for Nvidia's products in almost every single case is at least partially Nvidia themselves. Until next time, live small and dream big.